FlossTube, it's Chrissy, finally a farm girl. This is my FlossTube channel and it's Sunday, November 13th. Welcome. This is my FlossTube channel where I talk primarily about my cross-stitching journey, some of my family, some of my other crafts, but mostly we are here to talk cross-stitch. Today I have so much to catch up on. I don't know what FlossTube number this is. Randy will insert it. He's my husband. So I'm just not going to worry about it today. If you're new here, the last two episodes have been one on the road. I took FlossTube on the road up to Brick City Cross Stitch. And the one before that, I had a guest. I had, oh, for Pete's sake, Peter. And so this is my first FlossTube that I have done in a while by myself. I absolutely love changing things up a bit. So welcome, welcome, welcome to those that are new and welcome to those that are just who I consider my friends across the world. I am always thrilled to see numbers grow, but more than anything, I would rather see the comments that just say you enjoy yourself when you spend your time with me and that you might leave feeling blessed and inspired. Okay, I normally start off with plans, and if you guys don't mind, I am going to just sit back and relax. It is a rainy day in Florida, and again, if you're new, I live in Florida. I'm in Central Florida, and the last two hurricanes that came through, we have been spared, but we have gotten a lot of rain and a lot of wind. We do not normally get hurricanes in this into November. Usually hurricane season, November's the end. So these have been kind of shockers and they have been devastating to some. So it's just been so different, and it is raining again right now, and I feel like it's the perfect day to just sit back, breathe, relax, and really not have any plans. There has been several weeks that it has been nothing but plans. So although I like it, it just feels great to sit back and go, I have laundry to do and I can do what I want to do, and that just feels really good. If you're new, this is Ginger, my dog. There you go. She typically cuddles up in that chair during mommy FlossTube time. That's her spot, and actually she's in my chair. I stitch there. Randy usually takes the couch, and then this empty chair here, that's Ginger's for the most part. Okay, so I pretty much think that I'm gonna just skip over. We've pretty much caught up on when I had Peter here from Oh for Pete's Sake. Then last weekend I was up at Brick City Cross Stitch and did a FlossTube lot. I did a tour of the cross stitch store, and I sat down with both Peter and Linda, and that was a fun FlossTube and a fun celebration of 25 years at Brick City Cross Stitch. So once again, I am very thankful to have a cross stitch store that is within an hour drive from me. I think they are becoming harder and harder to find. So knowing that I have one, I fully want to support it and support the owner, Jean, any way I can. So I thought it would be fun to take that up there, and we had a really good time. Monday really, unfortunately, hit Philip really hard, and we ended up where he has a seizure disorder and a neurological disorder, and unfortunately Monday just really, we had a rough morning, and ultimately it kind of landed us in bed for a few days of just rest, and there's nothing wrong with that. So we did exactly what we needed to do, and things through the end of the week had returned to normal, and by Friday, if you follow me on Instagram under Finally a Farm Girl, and I'm out on Facebook as well, if you caught my pictures, I had a very special evening with my dad. Several months back, I think maybe a couple of months back, my dad had joined we live in a community that has several activities. It's 55 and over, and there is a veterans memorial park within our community that is so pretty. And the next time I go for a nice walk, I'll take some pictures for you. It's used in many ways, but he had joined their club, and he does the color guard now, and when they have events, which aren't too terribly often, however, they did on Veterans Day. But taking a step back, he had asked if I would be interested in going to the military ball with him. So, I was honored and just super sweet, and I knew that it was going to be a really nice night to get dressed up and spend time with my dad, but I also knew that it was going to be something new for my dad to have to experience, and because there was dancing and dinner, and he's done many functions, but this was the first time that I know that there would be something, that my mom would be missed terribly. So I was honored to go with him, and more so, I was honored to see this type of a celebration of veterans and how joyous they are and how celebrated they are, and they keep it going. This is something that they do every year on Veterans Day. No matter what, the day does not change. They do, if it's middle of the week, that is when their military ball is. So moving forward, that was Friday night, and it was so nice. You walk in the door. I will share pictures, make sure that I insert pictures, but just so you get a visual, my dad and I walked in together. He's in a, very handsome suit, and I had a full-length gown, and you walked in the door, and a veteran approached me. I took his arm. I was given a rose. We were escorted to our table, and then it's all the veterans and neighbors that are in our community. Some of them my dad knows, and some we are still meeting because we are still kind of new to our community. Again, if you're new to my channel, my dad and I both live in the same community, the plantation. However, he's 2 miles away. So anyways, moving on, we had a great night. The one thing that was hard, and I try to be very honest with y'all, but my mom and dad were big time. They loved to dance, and since this was a military ball, there was going to be dancing, and I could tell, and it was hard for me too. There's nothing to me more special than seeing a couple in each other's arms, twirling around the dance floor, whether it's slow dancing or fast dancing. The age of this group was of a mature age, and man, they know how to dance. They know how to dance. So it took a bit, but I kind of mustered up the courage. I didn't want to cause any more hurt to my dad, knowing that he was missing my mom at that moment. But I did finally, ask him to dance, and I'm not mom, but stand up and dance with me, and we did. And we, both felt what we needed to feel, and it was very, very sweet that one of his good friends in their small community had, broke into our dance and danced with my dad. And she's married and all those kind of things, but the people in our community are beyond special. They are so supportive, and they made that night so nice. And I think it was eye-opening to me to see veterans dressed. Some still had their full uniform on. So it just was a beautiful, beautiful experience, and I just absolutely had a great time, and it was super special, and I'll make sure that you see some pictures. So that was my Friday night. And Saturday I was off to Brick City again, and I took some patterns up. I met a new stitchy friend, and her name is Stephanie. She is on Instagram as little_bird_stitches. So it's always fun to run into somebody. That being said, I don't think I'm going to go any farther, because as I go through stuff, I'm going to have more stuff to share. And having the gaps, I had my friend Tina from Team Egner had visited in October. I didn't even get to fully share everything we did, but there's just a lot. There were releases all through the month, and so I say we just get started with the stitchy goodness. I have several fully finishes that I'll share with you in a minute, but I did have one special full finish, and that was my birthday sale. I finished up A Witch in Her Garden by Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread, and I was, oh man, I was so excited. I think I was one of the last, but that's okay. So this is my Witch in Her Garden that will be turned into a drum, and this was under the A Garden Witch sale, and it was started on September 25th. So I am very happy to have a finish. There are definitely not huge boo-boos, but I'm not going to say that it's absolutely perfect, but I really loved it. Really, really loved it. Oopsie, is that a thread? Yeah. There we go. So, she's a fun one. If you did not do her this year, you definitely do her. She's really cute. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the stalk on top. I do have it, and I do have the velvet. I'm just not quite sure. I did like the look of Chris Leedy's drum that she did with just some wool top. Tina from Team Egner, who participated, she also did a wool top. Stitchy Linda has a wool, like more of a plaid wool top on hers. So I kind of leaning towards that way. I'm not sure. I'm just so happy to have that one done. So let me move that over. Now, I have no method to the madness that's here, but I wanted to share with you a big FFO finish for me that you've seen reveals. If you are on my Instagram, Finally a Farm Girl, you will have already seen several of the reveals, but if you watch the FlossTube, I have not been able to share them here as a fully finish of one of my designs. So this was a sampler that I had as my very first original design sampler, and it is honored after my fraternal grandmother, Olivia Johanna Binder. 1919 was when she was born. So this is the pattern, and that is in my Etsy shop and was released, and I have to say I just absolutely was thrilled with it. So there's a lot of, knowing that it was designed, that I designed it in honor of my grandmother. I believe that you can do a lot of changing it yourself and make it your own. So several of you asked that I would go ahead and still release it. But what you have here is my grandmother was a certified nurse assistant. My grandfather is on the other side. His name was Clifford, and he was in World War II. And there are two angels, and under this angel, I put two angels for my grandmother's two children. She had a son, which is my dad, and his older sister, Nancy. So over here you have my dad's initials, my initials, and my sister's initials. So it's my dad and his two daughters. On this side, you have his sister, and she has 3 children. Their house was red house with white shutters, and they had a little black dog. And so some of those things you could easily change to make your own. I added a key over the house because I feel like my grandmother was the key to that to that home. She was very much an organized homemaker, even though I know she did other things outside of the house. My dad shares a story of how she was the like a school crossing guard while they were in their school age years. In the pattern, I included her picture and her 2 kids, and I included a little bit of the story. And the reason that I really wanted to do this was because we shared our same birthday. She was born on September 25th, and then I was born on her birthday. And I wanted to share a verse that I wanted on my wall. I've shared before that a lot of my reproduction samplers that I have stitched from other designers, I usually pick them for the verse, and I have yet to have found one with "Be still and know." It's basically be still and know that I am God. And there are many times in my life, like on Monday, that as Philip was struggling, I have to say that to myself. So I wanted a sampler with "Be still and know." Trust in him and trust in his ways and trust in his plans, and fully rely on him and lay it down. There's all these things that to me comes through just be still and know. And so I wanted to add, I love red, so red was really, you can tell it's my predominant color in this. The funny story with this frame is that when I did a model stitch for Twin Peak Primitives for their trilogy, earlier in this year, Hobby Lobby had ordered a frame, which is where I get all my framing done in Mount Dora, and it was just slightly too small. And I was really, as I was stitching this, I was really hoping that this would work, because what ended up happening was they quickly reordered the frame, and I bought this at 80% off, 80 or 90% off. It was ridiculously cheap, and it had the insert in. So let me see if I can get her closer, but I just love this since this is a very maybe country feel to it, more of a simpler sampler, I love that this filigree, I think it could handle it. So I'll hold it back, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very proud of it, but I do think that it could be stitched, and you could add your own things up here, own motifs. But that is Olivia Johanna binder, and let me show you. This is her. So this is my grandma Olivia, and this is my Aunt Nancy, and this is my dad Thomas. I think she was there. Well, they're all very cute, but she was, to me, she was very graceful. So I guess I feel something special with her besides the birthday. She passed away when I was in 5th grade. So I think that there's just, I wish we had more time together. But what we did and what I observed was, I just felt like she was that, home sweet home. She was such a good cook. And there are other things, but as far as wanting to, I knew a while ago that I wanted to do something and design something in her honor. And then my daughter Olivia is named after her. And they both ended up with these blonde, she had very curly hair. And so they both ended up with these, Olivia has her same curls, ringlets when she was younger. Her hair's darker now. But that is the story, and I just think that's so cute. So I am going to have this put into a better frame to put up on my my sampler wall and to stay with it. So anyways, and in the pattern, their picture is in that too, with a little bit more of a story. So that was one big one, and I was just thrilled. Okay, so that was that. All right, what else did I do? I'm going to take these off for just a second. I started, Tina of Team Egner and I wanted to have a joint start together on a prairie schooler. So I have a new start, And let me show it to you. We wanted to do this for Emily and Philip to make sure that it was in there up for this Christmas. And this is Santa's Night. And I think I lost my tag of what I'm stitching on, but I believe it's 32 count Storm. I absolutely love this fabric. So let me show you my progress. I was so excited to be able to stitch Santa and his sleigh. And I have not worked on it in a few days, but this is where I am at. See if I can get in there. I love it. I think the green in the sleigh shows up pretty good. Tina, I believe, may have had to change her sleigh color to black. It was not showing up on her fabric good, but I think I'm okay. So I was able to, I finished the bottom house and I got up, started on Santa, and now I am working on my first reindeer. And I got myself some words in so that I could either take it to my dad's. I usually go to my dad's on Wednesdays. Wednesday is dinner with dad and a movie. It's not, and sometimes it's a movie, but most of the time we're watching just something that we enjoy together. So anyways, that's that, and that is my progress. I love Prairie Schooler, and I'm so bummed that I have not spent more of my stitching years stitching Prairie Schoolers. For a long time, I really didn't even know what one was, and that kind of just tells you I used to just stitch one piece, finish it up. I was younger, I had kids, and I was just happy to be stitching, but I really didn't know about some of these things that are, to me, this is just so traditional, can last. They're always going to be cute. Prairie Schooler's always going to be cute to have on display. So I'm excited for that one. Okay. I also worked on, believe it or not, I was so excited to get this back out. I would like to I have two finishes as far as Christmas that I want to have finished this year. These are my goals, these are my plans for November, as I want to finish the Prairie Schooler Santa's Night so that it's up. And this is from last year's previous WIP, which is Greetings from the North Pole. See if I can get it in there good for you. I'll declare, there we go. By Country Cottage Needleworks. Stitchy Linda and I started this with Denise from Goose last year. I know Linda finished. Surprise, surprise. She was a good girl, got it all done, and I think Denise said she may restart it. I'm not sure if she was meant restart it or just get back on it like I did. But this is my progress, and oh my gosh, I am so excited to get this going. So I worked the other night, and all I want to do is get this over to the top, and then I will spend a night adding the green and the other berries, and I will be very close to the border being finished. I've got a good start going here, and this is just a tree. There are a stack of packages here, and I found one boo-boo that I told Linda, oh my gosh, I would have had this thing framed. I forgot this little green part on this house. Other than that, the biggest chunk I did this past week was this house here. I finished all of that, the roof, this, so I'm throwing in snowflakes as I can randomly so that I don't have to all of a sudden go back and do a lot of little tiny things. I have 2 candy canes to put here, and I am getting there. So yes, and I've got to put the greenery in here. It does a little something special, like this one right there. So I am excited about this. I really, really am, and I want to allow for that framing time so that I have it back in time for Christmas. Which, by the way, you know, I have not done any decorating for Christmas. I'm not ready for that yet, but I am enjoying, which I always do, don't get me wrong, I am enjoying watching everybody getting ready and doing. There are many that have already decorated, and I am having a good time stitching Christmas, but maybe not decorating for Christmas yet. But I did one thing, and somebody mentioned to me that the trees at Hobby Lobby were like, there weren't very many left. What was out was what was left except for the small ones. And I knew that I wanted a tree for our front porch, just a skinny pre-lit. A little more, yes, I like a lot of trees. So I have, when we moved into this house last year, we've been here a little over a year, but this will be our second Christmas here. Our primary focus was because we have 12-foot ceilings, I think. Yes. Either way, we bought a 10-foot tree. The 12-foot tree you couldn't, it would have touched. So we have, we wanted to put our extra fun money decorating into a new tree for the living room, which we did. And then I grabbed a tree for my stitched ornaments for in the kitchen. So it kind of all goes with the cocoa bar, stuff like that. So I'm really getting excited because that was a new pre-lit in the kitchen. But one, I needed something for our covered. We have a front screened-in patio. It's not huge like the back porch, but I wanted something for in there to light it up. So I grabbed one of those while they were 60% off, and it's in a box, and Philip picked out the ornament. So I am really getting excited. And then when you stitch on this, it just makes it that much more exciting. So I'm hoping for some new finishes. This one I stitched on 32 count Heartland. I really love Heartland. I really do. I think it's a great fabric. It stitches up beautifully. It's probably my second favorite to Vintage Country Mocha. What's not to love about that? But Heartland also is just a dream to stitch on, especially when you're stitching in hand like I do. Okay, so let's see what else. Let's do another. I had a when Tina was here, we did antiquing, and it was Halloween. It was like before Halloween, and we did our Saturday night was witches. We dressed up. We got Halloween pajamas from Target. We had witch hats. We took our pictures, which, by the way, 2 people trying to take pictures with their witch hat is not an easy task, but she figured it out, and we're going to try and do it again next year, I think. So it was more comical than it was productive when we were trying. We envisioned our Saturday night in our cozy jammies, stitching on our piece, and have a picture with our hats, and we accomplished it. But anyways, when we went antiquing, we came across this broom. To us, it was a witch broom, but oh my gosh, it was so good. And she just was like, how am I going to get this home? So anyways, the whole theme of the weekend was witches and stitches, and we had such a good time. And then we came across I had treated her to, we both kind of swapped birthday stuff. Oops, sorry about that. And so in the fall issue of the Punch Needle and Prim Stitcher book, there is a Teresa Kogut pattern that, I gave her the book, I'd show you. There's a Teresa Kogut pattern that is mostly words, but it's so cute. And we want to stitch that for next year and put our picture by it. And we're going to take out one of the words and insert a new word, and I'll save that for another time. But she already charted it. She kind of marked it out to make sure that it would fit, and we loved it. So I printed out our picture this week. I'm going to send her hers. And we have our plans to for our Halloween display next year. She got me those witch boots I shared with you. If you didn't see them, go back 2 videos because they are awesome. So like I'm already, I don't know why that happens to me, but I'm already decorating in my mind for a witch display for next year. But in the meantime, we were joking around, and we came up with this, and we loved the saying, and I was like, okay, I gotta put that to design. So I designed, home is where you hang your hat and park your broom. And again, I had this frame, no glass, but I had it, and I bought it off the Hobby Lobby like 75% off. So And I just turned around and it fit perfect. And I thought because this was so kind of primitive and simple that it could handle this, and I loved it. So I ran it down to Mike and had him do his magic and framed it up real nice for me. But this is Home Is. The name of the pattern is Home Is ... Because I left it off because I'm working on a Christmas version of this. So yes, Halloween's over, but you know what? Today is the 13th, and that is dark stitching day of every month. So on the 13th of the month, a lot of people will stitch Halloween every month on the 13th, and they call it dark stitching. There's several hashtags that can go with it, but this is a perfect one because you could literally almost finish it in a day or so. And so what you've got is home is where you hang your hat, and I love this little witch, and park your broom. And so this I just used, for the most part, this is the only, these two are your only dyed floss. It looks like sweet potato, but it's terracotta. It's Weeks Dye Works terracotta. But I love her so much. I really, really do. So she's available, and a lot of this, like I said, you've seen it on Instagram, but perchance I have not been able to share my FFOs. So, and again, she's another one. If you wanted to change it up, you can change your dress to purple. You can make whatever you want it to be. I was looking for something a little more prim to go with the boots she got me in our picture, and so I liked that. But that was another one. Home Is. Okay, and then while we're talking about it, some more whips that I have going. 1 second here. I have, this is Home Is the Christmas version. Sorry about that. And so sometimes I share with you guys the work, and other times I try to keep it like a surprise and then release it. But since we haven't been together in so long, I'm just going to show you everything I've been doing. So this is the Christmas version. This is going to be Home Is ... and it'll be the Christmas version. So home is where you hang your hat and park your sleigh. Now this will be the surprise over here, because this is, there's more to this design than the Halloween one. Mrs. Claus will make an appearance, and he has something sweet that he's bringing and giving to her. So this is what I have so far. I don't have an eye in him yet, but I'm having a good time. And I will say, this is a real deep green, and this is on Heartland again, 32 count Heartland. But if you wanted to go even more prim, I mean, you could have made this, you could make your words black if you wanted to. So, but I have some fabric that I know I want to use for this if I make it into a pillow, and I wanted the green. So anyways, this is where I'm at on that one. And then, you've already seen this before, but I am still working on, but getting very close to, I took this on my retreat when I went up to the Bare Bones retreat. I am working on, sorry, this is the Claus family portrait. Hold on a second here. Again, so this will be a soon to be released, and it'll probably be, these will be my last two Christmas releases for this Christmas. But this is my green. I love the fact, I love Mrs. Claus in green, and I love Santa in green. And this all came about because I was with my sweet friend Chris Leedy, and she mentioned to me, walking around antiquing one day, I actually love my Santa in green. As a kid and forever, she said she loved him in green. And I thought, I've just got to try that. I've got to try that. And I picked two different dyed flosses. It's being stitched on a 28 count water lily. I think it's 28. Maybe it's 32. I'll find it later for you. But it's Jobelan water lily. And there's just a hint of green in there. And I love that. So, and then I'm adding these little white dots going up here. So, and so you've got Rudolph in the middle, and it is the Claus family portrait, and it's getting close. So I'm kind of thinking those two could be released together, get them finished, and that'll be about it for my designs for Christmas 2022. I love Christmas though. It's so easy. That and Halloween are so easy for me to design. All right, let me put that. And that is in, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't want to spend too much time on bags and doing all that, but this is in my, look at that Santa. This is Cricklewood Crossings bags, which I absolutely love. And I think we missed, one second here. This bag here, the last two I had were both Dot Dot Goose. So this is housing my Country Cottage Needleworks, and this was specially done. I absolutely love this fabric. Denise gets some cool fabrics when she makes her bags. So I actually am really excited to be done with this so I can use this bag for something else. I'm really excited about that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Moving right along. Okay. Then I have a couple of model stitchers I owe a big thanks to. Her name, the first one for this one is Stacy Santos. She's a finisher. She is, I believe she's Miss Priss on Instagram. I will add her down, but she model stitched this next one for me. I shared the story on both Instagram, but you haven't seen the FFO on my FlossTube, so I had to share it. But this design, she model stitched, and I had it designed forever ago. And she was mentioning, are you ever going to get a cat out there, Chrissy? And I said, well, I actually have one, and if you want to model stitch it, that would be great. So she was like, oh yes, absolutely. And she did the finishing into a flat fold. I gave her the fabric that I had found. So the story behind this one is a really sweet Christmas Eve story, and it literally is my mom. My mom is, our whole family's pet lovers, always has been. I don't remember not having a pet in my life. So she had always wanted an orange cat, and sometimes they're not easy to come across, and a lot of times they're males. I mean, it's just so they're just not as easy to find. And we had been fostering 2 kittens, and so of course just was kind of missing hers, and she was mentioning the whole, if I ever get another cat, I would love to have an orange tabby, and she wanted to name it Oscar after her dad's middle name. His name was Albert Oscar, and that's what my grandma would call him when she wanted his attention. And so I wanted to, after I started hunting Facebook Marketplace, wanting to make her wish come true, and we actually found one across, kind of like across the state. We're in the central Florida, so we can get to either side of the state within an hour, hour and a half or so. So I found one, and it was Christmas Eve, and this lady was trying to be done with kittens, and she was willing to meet us. She was out Christmas shopping, and she was willing to meet my husband at like 10 o'clock at night with this kitten who was so tiny, so very tiny. I want to say 6 weeks, probably younger than maybe what you might normally get a kitten. But either way, I was like, go. If you guys are okay with it, because I told her, I shared it, she's like, yes, 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 but we can't get there. So knowing they were coming, we could possibly make this happen. I stayed home with Philip, and Randy jumped in the car with my 2 daughters who thought they would be so wonderful, and drove him across. They drove across the state and picked up this kitten in a parking lot, drove it all the way back, and so Christmas was really special with this Oscar the cat. And so I've shared pictures of Oscar as a kitten. I will insert them for you at the end of the video. And she did a beautiful job stitching and finishing him. And she put a little cat paw charm on his collar. And so this is in my shop under Oscar the cat. So now I have two cats, Clara the cat and Oscar the cat. But it was so sweet. And of course I had to take this over to my dad's and show Oscar how was his likeness, and he just kept scratching on the corner, and I think he approved. But either way, super cute, and she did a great finishing job, so thank you so much, Stacy. And I'm not sure what trouble Oscar will get into, you know, next year, but I'm sure he will be out again. Okay, so then I did some, let me make sure I don't have anything here. Then I did some FFOing, and I think I've shared, no, I know I did. I've shared before that I didn't cheat, but I kind of cheated a little bit. But I love saving the stitches. I had a bear one, he's way up high, this beautiful vintage bear cross stitch that I would have never stitched it, but I loved it. And I, you know, found that on eBay. And so I think sometimes us stitchers have a really hard time leaving these stitches be, that we know how much work went into them. So one day scrolling on eBay, I had found some Prairie Schooler Santas, and I also found some vintage bears. So I'll show those in a minute. But when Tina was here, I had put my Bernina sewing machine away when we moved, not really having the greatest spot for it. We lost space when we moved, and it's perfectly fine, but a lot of my stitchy stuff is right in this room. So until grown kids move out onto their own, and then I will take over the second master. So anyhow, I mentioned when you're here, maybe you could help me pull the machine out, and I wasn't quite sure if it was working good. I felt like it would be nice to teamwork it, and she was going to quilt us up a Halloween table runner, and we had so much fun doing that. So I left it out, and it seemed to be running good, and I have gotten myself reacquainted with a rotary cutter and reacquainted with some, now there's some black on it from cutting, but Fat Quarter Shop, I don't know why this got on it. Fat Quarter Shop had sent this Kimberly Cuts rotating cutting mat. And I have 3 different sizes of these things. And some of my stuff I had from quilting years ago was getting pretty old. So I got a new rotary cutter, first of all, because I couldn't find my old one for Tina. I hid it somewhere very special so I wouldn't forget it, and then I forgot it. That's an age thing. And then I found it after she left. But in the meantime, I bought a new one. And these have a turntable on the back. So you can rotate it as you need it for cutting. And then, like I said, there's 3 different sizes, and I absolutely have found myself enjoying finishing, not in hand, which I love that I know how to do now. I love that. But I have revamped the area that sits right in front of me, and my sewing machine is right there. I can pop over from my chair, sew up my ornaments, sew up my little small pillows, whatever it is, and I can get so much more done. So I had stacked some of these things that I found on eBay, and I put them into fully finishes over the last 2 weeks or so. So my first one was this bear here. I think Stitchy Linda said she remembered, I believe it's Cherished Teddies. But I have a Christmas village, like a lot of people do. That was my mom's, and my dad gave it to me last year. And so I thought, because it's the Dickens village, I thought these would be cute. And I wanted to put a bunch of cross stitches that went with the Dickens village on my hutch. So again, this has been in the works since last year. So I put the date on it. I was out of the black clips. I ordered those and just got them yesterday. So I just think she's so cute. I don't do as much bears anymore, but I was a big Boyd's bear person for a very long time. I was Boyd's, not as much Cherished, but I do love her. And I love that the little dessert, the plum pudding's so cute. And then, so when I bought them, it came with 2. So obviously somebody stitched 2 of them, that was it. So I bought the 2 together, and it was ridiculously cheap, guys. So I was so excited I knew being finished they could be so cute. So this is the guy, and they actually both have beads. They did a beautiful job stitching them. This is beads, beads right there, beads on his hat. So I wanted to do them because they're different sizes. He's much smaller than her. Not like by a lot, but. So what I wanted was him to have a different finish than her. She has your very feminine finish, and I used this fabric that Hobby Lobby has. I love this. And I used, this is Rick Rack from Lady Dot Creates, I'm sorry. So it's just your real bright red from Lady Dot Creates. Love it. And this was, I just added a little chenille yarn for him to finish him off and kept him a little more manly. So I'm excited about those, and they were so fun. And I used my machine. And I don't know why sitting down to a sewing machine, I'm sorry I bumped you, can feel overwhelming if you haven't done it in a while, but it did. And I'm so glad that I moved through that because it has been so fun. Okay, then I decided I would pull out one of the Prairie Schoolers was a much different size. So this was on eBay, and he was just not finished or anything like that. And I grabbed him. He's bigger than the others that I got. He came by himself. So I finished with this real, just like a plaid, but all in those deep cranberry greens and golds, a little more primitive. That's how I like the finishes on my Prairie Schoolers, will be quite simple. Whether they're on a tree or whether they're in a dough bowl, I don't need a lot on them. So I loved that. So do I feel like I'm cheating? A little. I mean, I do want to stitch them, but I feel so behind. So I'm just gonna enjoy somebody else's stitching on these and have them in my dough bowl and say that I rescued them. That just makes me feel better. And then the other one I got was a set of 4. And that one was a good year ago, and I told Linda, I'm like, I think I just cheated in the stitching world, and she laughed. So I figured, well, I'm not gonna lie to you, so I'm just gonna tell you the truth because I love them and I think it's perfect. So these are much smaller, but they're so cute. And so I just finished them really simple. They have the same fabric. I've just got this is your sticky, it's sticky velour that I got off Amazon. You just peel the back, cut the size you want, and I was out of the pins. So they will get something cute on the back with a pin. But let's see here. This was the first one. And there were no dates on them, but that's okay. So I really like them. And I'm really glad I did it, and I'm really glad I got my sewing machine out. And then I decided that I used to stitch, here's a fun fact. Before I model stitched for Twin Peak Primitives, I model stitched for Primitive Acorns. And her name is Teresa. I think it's Teresa Margita, and she's in Italy. And she has some really cute primitive designs. She also has another job, so that it's not her primary job. She was super fun to work with, and she designed some farmhouse, like a series with these hens. I originally had them in a frame, but I don't want to take up a bunch of frame space if I don't have to. So I revamped an old stitch. And so this is, the design is the pattern is by Primitive Acorns. You can still find her on Instagram. You can find her, I do think she's in Etsy. I don't think she moved out of there into her own website. But anyway, so all I did was kind of kept the same fabric going, put some chenille trim, a couple of bows up here, because there was a little plain in this area here to me. So I thought this was a good spot for the bow. So in the kitchen, where it's a little more farmhouse, I think it'll be fun to have this for Christmas. And then what I have is, I have yet to finish, and I'll show it to you hopefully next time, but I have the same version in a fall one where the acorns are fallen, and it's really cute. So I have 2 of those, and I'm excited about that. So I think it's nice to finally be able to bring it up to a more current type of a finish where not everything has to be framed. So I do like that. Okay, so anyways, that's Primitive Acorns. I will tag them and put the link there to her shop. I had something really weird happen, and I didn't say anything to them. I don't know if anybody's ever happened to this before, but I started noticing on Instagram that I wasn't seeing what Twin Peaks was putting out there. And ultimately I went and checked, and because I saw what Diane, who runs their Twin Peak Primitives exclusive shop on Etsy, I saw her post something, and I'm like, I have not seen them. And I went back to Twin Peak Primitives page, and it showed that I wasn't following them anymore. So I don't understand how that happened. I don't know if anybody ever has had that happened. I'd be interested. It was just so bizarre. So I felt awful because I didn't understand how that could have happened. And I don't know if it happened to them too, because then I noticed they followed me back. So I don't know what happened. But either way, every now and then Philip does have my phone, but it would have been really random for him to have, unless a post came up and he was on it. I don't know, but I would be interested to know if anybody ever has had that happen before, because it certainly wasn't my choice. That wasn't something I would have ever done at all. So it was just strange. But anyways, that kind of linked me to, because I originally had model stitched for Primitive Acorns, and then that led to Twin Peak Primitives, and then I was just bummed because I wasn't seeing what the twins put out there. And then the twins put out there, or they were showing a reveal of a pink candy village or something so cute. So it's rectified, but that just made me feel bad how that could happen, because I just wondered how many that happens to. Okay, enough on that one, enough rambling. Okay, so yesterday, Team Egner and myself, Tina, I saw this cute turkey from Salt and Pepper Stitching. Her name is Emily, and she does some, I feel like we designed similar but not the same. She does very whimsical type happy stitches, and I am all about that. So she released Thankful for You, and I just think it's adorable. So her name is Emily Calls. She's on Instagram. She sells out of Etsy, and on Etsy, it's, I believe you look up Emily Call, but her company is Salt and Pepper Stitcher, and I just thought he was adorable. So yesterday, when I went up to Brick City to drop stuff off, I quickly grabbed myself some 28 count mushroom Lugana and the DMC, and we did, Tina and I did a little Saturday night stitch along, just real quick. And this is, hold on one second here. He's too cute. And I want him, I don't have as much fall, so I think he's gonna be a great addition to my fall tray that I will, if I get him finished, which I think I will share him with you next week, the whole tray from last year. So I got this far. And he's just, I mean, look at that turkey face. He's just adorable. So hopefully I can design my own turkey next year. I didn't get that far. I'm not even sure. I did have a Matilda Gives Thanks, and that just hasn't happened yet, but that's okay. So this is adorable, and this is housed in my newest Cricklewood crossing bag. Sorry for the glare. Let me see if I can get that glare out of there for you. And it has a Teresa Kogut former fabric design, and I absolutely love it. I have a lot of maybe more like Christmas bags, Halloween bags, but I do not have as many fall. Is that better? Yeah. I mean, I think these are a fabulous way to make bags, as you get these old panels older panels of fabric, and I mean, I just think it's awesome. So I saw some fabric on eBay and I'm like, Jennifer, what do you think? And I mean, she just made a miracle out of it to me, or not a miracle, but I love it. So I know she still has some in her shop, I believe, but either way, if you check her out, Cricklewood Crossing, just super adorable, and they are made so good. I love the heavy duty vinyl she uses, and I love being able to see in my bag. So that was a new start. Oopsie. All right, so as far as Matilda is concerned, I have released 2 Christmas designs for Matilda. I did Bedtime Matilda with her vintage Santa coffee mug, and I did Santa Matilda. That was the most recent one. And then this is the final. So there are 3. I have a little Christmas Matilda trilogy myself, and this is the 3rd and final Matilda for this year. And this is Up on the Rooftop Matilda, and I just finished her a little differently. Usually I do more of like, I'll put the fabric down here, but I wanted it to have a little bit more of a pillow to sit possibly in a bowl this time and have some space. So I used some black, a little bit of black trim there. The fabric here from Hobby Lobby. This is from Hobby Lobby. And used my sewing machine. I was just so happy, and I love her so much. So Matilda's just getting ready to make sure all her little mice friends get in Mouse World, I guess it's a thing, going down the chimney and making sure they all get their packages. So, and she has her little helper, little elf helper on top, and gingerbread cookie in her hand just in case you get hungry, which we know how they will. And this is DMC 115. However, on the pattern, I used, in place of it, Cupid, because for some reason, I wanted it to look like brick. I wanted it to be like an overdyed. I used DMC 115, and I assumed it would be in my cross-stitch program, and it was not. And I'm not sure I understand that, because B5200 is in there, maybe because it's a dyed. I'm not sure, but either way, what is in the pattern, I used Classic Colorworks Cupid, so that's in there. However, I wanted anybody who decided they wanted to stitch her to realize you can easily use the DMC 115 and you are going to get that brick look. So anyways, I do love her. She's in my Etsy shop now, and that is the last Matilda Christmas release for this year, but I already know what I want to work on for her for next year for Christmas. So anyways, she's real cute, and I got my black little hooks back in, so it's got the year on it for me, and I just think she's super sweet. So this will be the release for this week, and it will be the giveaway. So the keyword is rooftop. And if you would like this and you want to join in for the giveaway, please just use the word rooftop. And then next week I will, hopefully you have an email. You can, if you need to contact me, you can contact me at finallyafarmgirl@gmail.com. But let's make her this week's giveaway, and the word is rooftop. She's so cute. While I'm talking about mice, when I got a little show and tell. When I was with Tina, and I couldn't share everything, when Peter came, it was right after that. But when Tina was here, we went to Renninger's Antique Mall in Mount Dora. And we had a good old time just wandering. It was great weather, and there is a store there. And we walked in, and I'll be darned if there weren't the cutest little mice designs. And this person who designs these designs one of a kind, and that's it. And everything was in kind of like a vintage type whatever. We saw scissors, we saw a little sleigh, but everything was really quite rustic and vintage, and I just love this little cup. And so there's the bow. He's got a thimble on his head. So this was my special treat that day, hanging off the little tail as buttons. I mean, how can you not love the vintage pin cushion, which I got one of those that day too. But I wanted to make sure I shared that with you. I was trying to see it. Her name is Sandy, but it's tucked in there. But oh, you can bet that I will be back at that store to see if she has more. She had a school one. I mean, it was just great. She just has so many wonderful designs. So cute. So I had to share this with you. And this was the pin cushion that I got at another antique shop in there. So anyways, I added another one of those to my collections. And Tina brought this all the way down in her suitcase, which I have yet to play with, and I think that's what I'm going to do today. It's just been so busy and nobody wants to rush anything fun. So in her suitcase, we had promised for our birthdays that we would only do something thrifted. So we went on the hunt. And this is what she found for me, which I just absolutely loved. But it took up half her suitcase. So literally, luckily, one of the things I gave her was a shirt, like, because she had to pack so limited. And the fabric she brought for us, she like store in this or put it in here. So if you've ever seen, I'm sure you have, I'll open it one time for you. But it opens up just like, whoa, just like this. And that's all stitchy storage. So I want to play with this today, and I just absolutely love that she was willing to sacrifice suitcase space for something that I love this because it's tabletop. And I've seen them where they're floor stand type, but this actually just sits on the table, so it actually sits over there by my lamp, and I would like to get it organized today and use it. I love function and I love vintage, and it was just it was a great gift. So I had yet to share that with you, and I wanted to do that. Okay, so I did the Matilda one, which, by the way, Matilda was stitched on 32 count vellum, and she was stitched by Chris Young, who has now stitched 2 of my Matildas. I'm sorry I jumped around, but I need to make sure I thank Chris Young for stitching the last 2 Christmas Matildas. It worked out so great that she could help me with that. She's a beautiful stitcher. So the last 2 Matildas, Santa Matilda and Up on the Rooftop, were stitched on 32 count, picture this plus vellum. Any neutral will work, but she's a beautiful stitcher, so I wanted to make sure I gave her a shout out too. She is one of our Brick City stitchers and super, super sweet. So, okay, now this is a new Sal. It started the 12th, yesterday. Started yesterday. Cardinal Kin Sal. This is a Plum Street design. I've talked about it with you. Stitchy Linda shared all the details last week. It's hashtag Brick City Cross Stitch Sal, as well as Cardinal Kin Sal. So there's 2 hashtags, and basically what it is Brick City Cross Stitch, RLNS, does about a sal maybe 4 times a year, every quarter. So they were ready to do another one, and maybe one that wasn't quite as big. So this was perfect, and so many people have wanted to join in on this. I'm so excited. Tina, Team Egner, she is on Etsy. She created matching floss drops and floss bling, and they are adorable. So let me show you what I have. I did not start it. So, but I am all blinged up and ready to go. These are super sweet because they have acorns with it. So here's my floss, all the called for. Here's my floss drops. Here's the cardinal, and I have my scissors with my cardinal fob, and I am going to stitch this on 32 count water lily. I have my, whoa, I have my cardinal needle minder. And let's see if I can hold it all up here. My bag, which is from Joyful Stitching, which is just Christmas goats. I didn't have a pretty cardinal bag like Miss Linda did, but so I didn't start it yesterday because I had I wanted to start my turkey, and yesterday was kind of a busy day for us, so I didn't want to just jump in on something that would maybe need a little bit more. It's not difficult by any means, but I wanted to be able to get a good start in it and not rush. And I knew we had committed to our turkey start for Saturday night, so I was excited, and there's plenty of time. But anyways, it did start yesterday, and I'm excited to get a start on this new cardinal sale. If you still want to join, please join us. You can tag Stitchy Linda. She's the host of the Cardinal Kin sale, and I know that you can get this pattern many places. I know that Hollis Hands Create is stitching it, and she had it in her shop and has gotten it out to those that wanted to participate. But I think it's going to be a really perfect stitch to leave out even after Christmas, just for winter, and I don't have a lot of that, so I am excited to have the cardinal stitch. Okay, so I am down to haul, and we are at 1 hour and 6 minutes. I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad at all. So as far as no hashtag no new November, that Peter, oh for Pete's sakes, was starting. Yeah, I failed Peter because I started the turkey, and now I'm gonna start the cardinal. So I made it stitching on everything that I had that was not new up until November 12th. So that's not bad. That's like almost a half a month. But either way, I do want a turkey. I have no stitched turkeys, and he's the perfect size. So that was a must, I'm pretty sure. And cardinal Sal, like, that's a must, right? So I did not maintain, and we'll just call that an epic fail on the no new November. But go, Peter, go. Other than that, I have a little bit of haul I wanted to share with you, and that is it. I had ordered this, I believe it was Expo. I'm pretty sure, or no, they just came out. But this is Sue Hillis Hoop-de-Doo Tomato Patch. So I ordered that. I love the finishing with the hoop, right? Wrapping it in the fabric. I thought that's so cute. But I have a tray, a wooden antique tray. It's like a silverware tray. And that's what I keep some of my tomatoes in. And I thought that would be so cute because I could just prop it up in the tray and still be in a hoop. So I do like the finishing on that. And I just thought it would be so good with the StitchCon sale that we just finished with the tomato. So super cute. That was one. And then I was gifted a couple of patterns. This is Letters for Santa by Brenda Gervais. I was gifted this one and handed it down from Tina, and I so want to stitch that. Absolutely love it. I love the ticking fabric, so that's happening. That is happening. I had found this on eBay, and I've always loved this, and now that I found a blue fabric that I do like, that 32 count Storm, I think it was, that I'm stitching the Prairie Schooler on. This is Peppermint and Holly by Brenda Gervais. And I just don't have enough angels, and I think that's really sweet. And I already have this cording too, so good to go. I love that. And then yesterday, see, now I don't have too much because most of my stuff, I've just been busy going places and not shopping, so that's good, right? But I grabbed Brick City Cross Stitch. She always has little grab bags of stuff that's half off, fabric swatches, and so I love Sampler Gold. Let me see if I can get it out for you. It's better to look at it. It is one of my favorites. So, and I love stitching on this. So 28 count Sampler Gold. I grabbed a piece of that for myself. It's a good size. It's 11 by 13, and I mean, it's gonna get used. I love that. And then I grabbed something that's not normally in my realm, but I already have an idea for it. So this is 28 count crystal fascial, and it's opalescent. And it's just a real, oh, I don't think you're ever gonna get to see, maybe. No, it is like, there, maybe. It's a very light pink. It's pink, a carnation pink, but I don't think you're seeing the true color at all. Nope, not happening. There, that's a little better. But it's a real sweet pink, not too pink, not too dark, not too, it's just a nice soft pink. So I have a little idea for that one for a Valentine's design. So that is it. That is really it. My plans this week, I really want to finish. I have more prairie schoolers that I want to go ahead and get stitched up that were like save the stitches. I have 2 more, and I want to get those done so that I will have all of them for this Christmas. I want to finish for sure Greetings from the North Pole. I know I can accomplish what's left in a week, so I will put a lot of effort into that one. I will finish my turkey because he's not that big, and it might just go with me to my dad's. I might not stitch, I don't know, it just depends. And work on my prairie schooler. Those are the ones that I want to put more time in. As far as my own designs, I will finish up probably home is the Santa. Home is where you hang your hat and park your sleigh. That will probably get finished first, and that way if you're looking for like a real simple quick Christmas stitch, that would be perfect. Wednesday night is going to be a nice relaxing night at my dad's, and other than that, I need to get a start on the Cardinal sale. I will be just very happy with a start. And other than that, I just want to enjoy the season. We have Randy's brother. He has a twin brother. He is coming for Thanksgiving. So before you know it, we're going to turn around. This is definitely, I feel like we need to be thankful all year. I feel like I try to do that as much as I can. So I don't tread too much in the whole this is the month to be thankful and grateful. I just feel like we should all year. But this is that time that I do enjoy stitching and thinking about all the things in my life that I'm grateful for. FlossTube is definitely one of them. It's opened my life up to just so many friendships and meeting so many different people, trying new things, and it's just been fun. So this has been a nice treat to sit down with you today for an hour and a bit, catch up all the way, show everything I've gotten done, and I know that soon Linda and I are going to get together, probably through Zoom, because it'll be quite a bit. We are both going to, and I mean, we aren't the only ones, but we are both going to go through our kits and our projects and make our decisions on 2023 stitches and what we want to stitch. So first I will probably do coming up, you're probably going to see the Zoom and talking about 2023, and then you're also going to get a Christmas pattern parade. And I'm a little scared to get in my Christmas pattern box. I just want to stitch everything. So I know that both Linda and I have talked about, she is going to stitch from, I believe she's calling it her not her pattern library, but she wants to treat it as though her kits and everything, that she reaches into her own library itself to stitch from, and that she pulls from there and does these stitches that mean more to her instead of grabbing all the new. And so I think you're going to see an evolution of change kind of here, where we want to make sure we're stitching what we're in love with, not just what comes out fresh and new all the time. It doesn't mean we won't be buying. That's not going to happen. But we want to pay particular attention to what we are absolutely in love with in our own stash. That is what 2023 is going to be about. So anyways, I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have a blessed week. I hope you are able to sit back, stitch, feel well, think about the season, and hopefully you'll get together with a friend and stitch. I have a really fun announcement coming up next Sunday where I get to share with you a place that I'm going to be, an event that I am going to be part of, and that's exciting to me. So I'm gonna do a little work on that so that next week I can share it in full with you. If you are in Central Florida or in Florida, and this might be just for you. So anyways, guys, have a great week. It was so good to sit with you myself. She's still just sleeping away the whole time. Just don't forget to floss, guys. Love ya. Bye.